and thanks for joining us. We're starting a new show with Dr. Michael Lightman called Basic Concepts in the Wisdom of Kabbalah. Hello, Dr. Lightman. Hello. Our goal on this show is to try and take every time a concept from the world of Kabbalistic concepts and explain it in the simplest way that will be clear to any person and that will touch us deep in the heart. And the first concept we'd like to start out with is light, all in the wisdom of Kabbalah. In the wisdom of Kabbalah, we use this concept a lot, all light. What is light? The influence of the Creator over the created being is called light. How would you define light? The influence of the Creator over the created being. So let's break that down into pieces. What is the created being? The created being is the desire to receive in its different forms, levels, sizes that the Creator has created. Is it related to me as a person? You too are a part of it. So the Creator's influence over the desire to receive in me is called light. That too. What is the Creator? The Creator, in Hebrew, boreh, consists of the words bo'oeh, come and see, that define our attitude toward the source of reality. So figuratively, there is the source of reality called the Creator, boreh, that influences the created being, and that influence is called light. What does light consist of? It's bestowal in and of itself. It's the influence of the Creator upon the created beings. Is light a kind of energy? I can't say more than it being the Creator's influence over the created beings or His bestowal to the created beings. What is the source of light? The Creator. The Creator and light are two different things? Yes. What is the Creator and what is the light? We can't say about the Creator more than Him being the source of the whole of reality, and the light is that which stems from the Creator upon the creation that He has created, reality that He has created in order to enliven it. Does light come from some external source or from within the person himself? It goes both ways. What do you mean? Could be the influence of the Creator over the created being without any intervention of the created being in it whatsoever, and it could be that this influence depends on the response of the created being to that light. What is it made of? It simply exists. Because it exists, existing from existence. What do you mean? Existing from existence means that the Creator exists, and the light that appears from Him to the created beings exists too. And you can't say, when does it, when doesn't it? In the words of the receivers, in the language of the receivers, we can say that the light exits and enters and stops and goes in and goes up and goes down. But all of these forms, they're only in relation to the way they're felt in the receiving being. Receiving beings meaning the created beings, people. Yes, man is the receiver, that too. And he's also a created being, yes. I want to talk about the light and the Creator. What's the connection between light and the Creator, or God? The light that spreads goes through several stages called degrees until it reaches the created being and initiates different responses in the created being. So the light that awakens a certain response in the created being, this response is called Creator. A different response is called God, Elohim. A different response is called Adni. and more different such names that we use to name the creator or the upper force, upper source. Previously you said that there is an influence that comes from the creator to the created beings that's called light in general. Now, you told me that in man, there is sometimes an inner response of his to the influence of the light that is called Boré, creator, from the words Bo'oe, come and see. So the creator is here or inside of me. We always talk from the created being's point of view. We never talk about the creator in and of himself and also the light that extends from him, as if we don't talk about that either, but about our impression of it. So any point of view of ours, when we say light, it's what we feel, what we can grasp, discern, attribute, sort, etc. What does man feel as light? Man feels light as the influence that he can attribute to the Creator. Any person grasps the concept of light differently. Whoever grasps it, yes, then grasps it in their own way. And someone else who grasps the light does it differently. If there's someone else who grasps it, then he grasps it differently, each in their own way. What's similar and what's different in the different ways of perception and the different people that grasp the light? It depends on many conditions. The desire in a person, his response, the measure of his equivalence of form with the Creator, etc. Okay, I want to ask about the connection between corporeal light and spiritual light. Why is this phenomenon called light in the wisdom of Kabbalah? Is it related to the light that we're familiar with, like the light of the sun or of a candle? As if. This also what Kabbalists say, that when we start feeling something from the upper radiation, then it's like a kind of light that awakens us, scrutinizes different things for us. That's why we call it that way. What's the difference between the light of the sun and spiritual light? Just like the light of the sun helps us see what's around us in the corporeal world through our corporeal eyes, the same way, in the spiritual light, we start identifying where are we spiritually. Is spiritual light the root of the phenomenon called light, corporeal light in our world? No. In nature, the corporeal light is an energy that sustains life on earth. Is light in the spiritual world important for the sustenance of spiritual light as well? Of course. A part of the definition of corporeal light is that it is in a field, in a range of waves that the human eye can grasp. Does it have to do with spirituality too? Has nothing to do with our eyes or the range of our perception in which we grasp or perceive energy, the frequency of electromagnetic waves that we call light. And what is it related to, the spiritual light? Spiritual light's related only to our desire, to the measure to which we can be impressed with the form of the Creator's influence over the created beings, and that depends only on the measure of bestowal that we develop from ourselves to the Creator. Wait a moment, that was kind of complicated. You said that the spiritual light depends on the measure to which we can be inspired by the Creator's influence over the created beings, and then what? And then that we can reveal Him on condition that this is how we relate to Him in return. What do you mean to relate to Him that way? That way how? And bestowal? On our part? Yeah?
Okay. There's
an expression that says the advantage of light from the darkness. When Kabbalah talks about light, do we need to take into consideration that it's always the opposite of darkness? Yeah, because that's also how we attain the corporeal light. physical light, and this is exactly how we attain spiritual light. That we have darkness, meaning a feeling of darkness, absence of existence of the Creator in my world, and I want to reveal Him and bring myself closer to Him and more. And from that, finally, I reach a state where I sharpen my vessels in my tools of perception in which I want to reveal the Creator, and then I reveal Him. That I want to come closer to Him, and I reveal Him. When we talk about the advantage of the light from the darkness over the darkness, its advantage is exactly in what? And that the lack of light is the lack of bestowal, lack of love, lack of connection. And when I start revealing love, connection, bestowal, closeness, warmth, then by that I discover that I came closer to the light. How does the wisdom of Kabbalah define light, and how does it define darkness? Darkness are all of our desires, egoistic desires to receive. That really, decisively, I want nothing in my life besides to receive, enjoy, think about myself, and nothing beyond myself. And to the contrary, when I think about others and through others about the Creator, and I want to be only in that, above myself, above what my sense of self demands, then that's how I reach a state where I start feeling my fellow man, other people, and through that I come closer to feeling the Creator. Do light and darkness supplement one another? Yeah, but they're opposites. You can learn about the one from the other. What do you mean? In many professions, even in our world, we study about a thing from its opposite. So to develop love, we need to learn about the hate, rejection, remoteness, and from that we'll understand what love is. Let's talk a bit about feeling the light, the feeling of light. What does the light feel like? What is this feeling of feeling the light? It's felt as the force of love, as the force of connection, as the force of closeness, warmth, concession, a force that in which a person forgets about himself and wants to only feel the other person. Where is the light felt? In your mind, intellect, or your emotion? No, only in the emotion. The wisdom of Kabbalah doesn't talk about the intellect at all. But the wisdom of Kabbalah, even the expression itself, wisdom, but it's the heart that understands. We, human beings, do we feel even a tiny light? Do we feel it? Do we feel the light somehow? We exist in the light, only we're not aware of it. What do you mean we exist in it? Meaning that all of our actions, the bad ones, good ones, everything that enlivens us, as it says, I am the Lord who lives, dwells within them, within their impurity, meaning that we're all in the light, only we don't identify it because we're not in equivalence of form with it. We don't equalize with it. We're in the light? Yeah. Where is it? That's the question. Where is it? In the air, in the what? Where? Everywhere. We exist in the light. We live in the light. Everything's inside the light. And people that don't feel it, why don't they feel it if they're in it? They lack the emotion to sense it. What kind of emotion? Sensitivity toward the light. What kind of sensitivity? To have a certain feeling that will allow you, enable you to feel the light. What kind of feeling is it? Feeling of love, bestowal, connection, an inclination toward concession, toward different such senses, emotions, through which you reach connection with everyone. How does connection with everyone or love toward other people are related to feeling the light that I exist in right now and don't feel? Your problem is that you can't directly reach the light. Why? Because it's the opposite of you, and you can't identify, grasp this oppositeness in any way. Whereas, if you start building good relations with others, and despite you being a big egoist, and despite that you were born in the 21st century, and that it's the most egoistic era in all of human history, but if you try to nonetheless, through the method of the wisdom of Kabbalah, to develop in you an approach, an attitude toward connection, love, the Creator, light, then you can succeed, because precisely the different opposite inclinations exist in you, and you can use them and invert them, meaning this way to come to reach the light. How can you know that what you're feeling is really the light and it's not something psychological? The thing is that you can't imagine the light correctly, realistically, unless you're related to others, unless you're in a 10. What is a 10? 10 people, your friends, including you, that you study, you play a game, you act out bestowal upon each other. You make believe that you love each other, that you're willing to do anything in order to reach the essence of connection, and the essence of connection is the Creator. So it's a kind of work group that you work on what? Connection. And then in that connection that's made in that work group, there you start feeling the light. Yeah? Okay, I want to ask about the influence of light over man. In what way does light influence a person? In what way? The light influences a person. It depends on many conditions. External ones, internal ones. Who is that person? What degree is he on? What does the Creator want from him? There are thousands, I'd say infinite different ways in which the light influences a person. What is an enlightened person? How would you define him? An enlightened person is he who can draw the influence of the light upon himself. Actively, he invites it, of course. What's the use? What benefits does the light give you? Why does he invite it upon himself? Because he wants to reach greater bestowal than before. Whose bestowal? The influence of the light over him, in order for the quality of bestowal, that he'll get the quality of bestowal from the light, and that he'll himself will become a bestower like the light. Is it worthwhile feeling the light? Of course, and not only feeling it, but to be filled up with the light, becoming like it limitlessly. Why is that beneficial? Because that's the purpose of our life, of our development, and even though that it seems far and hard, but we need to head toward that. What does feeling the light give a person? Suppose he starts feeling the light. It gives him the feeling of eternity, wholeness and perfection, love, connection, all the plenty and abundance that can exist in our world and in all the worlds that are above us, everything exists in the light. And all these things is what the light wants to awaken in us limitlessly, only we need to want it. What does the light allow to see spiritually? Everything. Everything meaning what? Everything, including everything. All the good things that exist in reality, in the worlds the light wishes for us to acquire, feel, and live in it. How do we feel the light? What's the way to feel the light? Is there some kind of technology, stages? Yeah, very simple technology. You need to connect several people together and annul the particular ego of each of us toward all the others. And if we do that in a circle between us and in our group, then, according to the law of equivalence of form, we start feeling how much the light appears in us according to the measures that we take toward connection. So there's this small work group, 10 people, that each needs to decrease their ego a bit, and then we start feeling that the light's working in us, fulfilling us, passing from one to the other in a kind of circulation. So the first stage is to lower everyone's ego. Yes. What's the next stage? To increase the measure of bestowal toward each other. What does bestowal mean exactly? Bestowal is the inclination of good toward one another. So each decreases his ego a bit, has a kind of positive inclination toward others, and then the third stage is connection. Fourth stage, what will that be after we connected a bit? From the connection, we turn to the Creator. The Creator is the light? Yeah, the source of light. What do we ask of Him now? We want to bestow to Him that which we have attained. We've built a certain vessel, the desire to receive. And that each of us has, to some extent, conceded himself toward others. We've all connected to some extent, and we wanted to connect this mutual bestowal of ours upon each other in order to serve it to the Creator. Will the light come to the vessel that we've built between us? Yes, it will be revealed from within because it exists there. Okay, I want to talk about different types of light. In the books of Kabbalah, there are different types of light. Direct light, surrounding light, inner light. Why are there so many types? There are many different states that the vessels are in, and according to whatever state the vessel's in, on its way to in its approach to the light, it goes through different states, different desire, different fulfillment, and we call that lights. There's a difference in how you feel the different lights. Of course, it's all in relation to the attaining person. Are there different degrees of light? According to the attaining person, according to the vessel. There's an expression that says the reforming light. It's called the reforming light. What does it mean to reform, and how does the light reform us? The light that works on us elevates our degree from reception to greater and greater bestowal. And that's how we ascend. Like you have a certain instrument, like you have a jack in your car when you want to change tires. It's called jack, yeah, you're right. So you lift the car and the same. The light lifts us, Right. From what to what? From corporeality, from in order to receive, to spirituality, to in order to bestow. In the book of Genesis, in the beginning, it says, and the Creator said, may there be light, and there was light. What do we need to understand from the word light being mentioned in the very first words of the Torah? That the light created this world and our vessels, us, and moves us, and arranges us, and corrects us through different states until the end of correction. And when it says, and the Creator said, may there be light, what did He say? How did He say? Said, it's like an order. And when He gave that order, what happened? And it became, suddenly there was light. Yeah, it became revealed. This light that became revealed, it's the light of the days of creation. It's related to us or not. There are no days of creation because there was no day, no night, no nothing. It's just called that way. So is it related to us here and now today? No, it's unrelated to us. It's related to the foundations of creation, that this way the creation of the world came about, and this how will advance. And when we go over all the degrees, we'll start understanding what is it about. Does the light feel us? We can't talk about that. We can't talk about what's outside of us and how does it feel. We can only talk about what we feel and nothing else. I have no idea, does it exist altogether, and in what way. I only know that this is how I feel. And this is what we talk about, and therefore our entire wisdom is called the wisdom of Kabbalah, of reception, what a person in his world feels and what goes on with him. If to sum up, because our time's over, we tried to define today the concept of light in the wisdom of Kabbalah. How would you summarize what light is? Light is all the different forms of upper bestowal that reach us and change us, teach us, and elevate us to the degree of the Creator. And what do you wish us in relation to the light? Just light? That's it. Only the upper force that will change, correct, connect us, and a single connection, and will fulfill us accordingly. Amen. Thank you very much, Dr. Leitman. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, I wish you all the best.